it's April with Diamonds&Doo-dads, and today I'm going to come to you with this little WIP and chat and give you an update on how things have been going and what I have for some future plans. And if you're a subscriber, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you. Thank you so much for coming back and supporting my channel. And if you are new here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here as well. This is a diamond painting channel where I talk about diamond painting and occasionally maybe some other crafts if I ever get started on them. And I also give you a little bit of information about what's going on in my life and just, in general, and talk about my upcoming projects. And so if you like that sort of thing, then please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that all notifications bell so that you're notified whenever I upload new content. And everybody, if you would please like, share, comment on this video to help boost my channel and feed the algorithm. I would appreciate it. All right, so let's see. Let's show you what I'm working on today. First, I have a beautiful pen that I got from Bistro Exclusives. It's gorgeous. I love it. I never want to let it go. Then I have my Just Breathe 2025 tray. It's from the Just Breathe event with Diamonds and Dragonflies. It's a tray made by Yellow Dog Designs with a lid, 2 stoppers. Okay. The putty that I have loaded into this pen is Alien Putty, and it's the Ocean formula. I have everything all kitted up right here into this little case that I found on Amazon. I don't remember how much it was. It wasn't too bad, but it holds here 30 bottles, and it works for smaller canvases. And then I am working on my mystery canvas from Cat Eared. And I don't care that I'm spoiling the mystery. Here it is. I have one more square to go, and then I'm going to be done with what I consider to be a very awful diamond painting experience. I know it looks bad whenever you have your light pad on and you can see gapping, okay? But you can tell just by looking at this one how awful the gapping really is, even without your light pad on. Now, you are seeing it better here in the camera than I can see it, but if you look here, there's a big gap right here. There's all kinds of gapping over here in this area. You can see it here, here, many places in this little area here. And that's just not here. It's all over this canvas. It's been a horrible experience, and I'm glad it's over. It's the very first mystery that I've ever done, and I chose it because I'm like, oh, let me try Cat Eared, and it was small, and it's square, and I wanted to get some good practice with squares before I took off and really started diamond painting squares, or doing square diamond paintings, whatever, however you want to say it. But anyhow, now I got some good practice, all right. I got practice straightening stuff up and trying to make it fit, and yeah, it was awful. Do not recommend for canvases. Maybe they've changed them because I bought this about a year ago, but this one was horrible. All right, enough about that. Let's get on. In the Diamonds and Dragonflies group, in the Diamond Tribe, we have an event that Heather is running. She is the founder and leader of Diamonds and Dragonflies. She has Mystery Mania going on for her Diamond Tribe members. And you can go check her out. I'll link her in the bottom in the description here of this video. Check out her channel, Diamonds and Dragonflies. She does all kinds of things, WIPs, product reviews, month-end reviews, year-end reviews, unboxings for several different companies that she is a affiliate or sneak peeker for, and also just canvases or companies that she's not, that she just wants to share. Okay, so the Mystery Mania event is you pick a mystery canvas, you section it off in sections with release paper, 1 through however many you want. So some people, I had, in this one I had 1, 2, 3, 4, I had 16 squares because it was a smaller canvas of 30 by 40. And there were other people, you know, they're doing the big, you know, landscapes and things like that, have up to 60, 70 sections. But each number, Heather draws numbers, and each week Heather draws numbers, and then she posts them, and you do those specific squares for your for that week. And so I'm on the very last one. Here's my grid that I had to make. Let me raise this up, that I made in the beginning, and it shows you where all of the squares were. And I wound up making them smaller, so I added on. That's why it's kind of messy like that, but it's just my grid to keep track. So in the beginning, you'll take a picture of your blank canvas with all of your release papers on there, numbered. And you'll take a picture of your grid, and then you mark off each week how many you do, and you post each week which ones you got done. And there are prize drawings at various intervals. I forget, maybe monthly. I did win one of the prizes one time. I won a Mystery Mania tray, so that was pretty cool. I wanted that tray, and I won it. Yay! The other thing about this is you cannot have consecutive numbers touching, you know, north, south, east, or west. So, you know, I can't have a 1 and a 2 here, or a 1 and a 2 here, anything like that. They have to be where they're not in consecutive order. All right, so there we go. That's that part. And now let's get down to me working on my canvas here and doing a little bit of a chit-chat about all kinds of things. Those of you that are followers and have been followers of mine for a while, subscribers, know that my dad fell and broke his back in April, and so that has taken up a lot of my time and energy, and I have not been posting or filming anything because I've just been too doggone busy. So I am trying to get back into that now that he doesn't require so much of my help and assistance. And so of course something always comes up, but we're done. My kids, they moved in, they called me and they're like, oh, my son and his wife, we sold our house, can we come live with you for a month? So that was right at the tail end of my dad being in rehab, and he got discharged, and they moved out the same week. He got discharged and went back home, and they moved out to their home all about the same week. And oh my gosh, it's just been crazy. They lived here for a month from like, it was like Memorial Day, or maybe they left out on Memorial Day. See, I don't even know. They had me running. So anyway, there was 4 extra people here. So there were 6 people and 3 dogs, because I had Dad's dog because he was in rehab. So I had my dog, my grand doggy, and then my dad's dog. And then I had my 2 grandchildren and my son and his wife and me and my husband. And it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of chaos for a month. But you know, I was glad that we could do it. I'm glad it's over because, you know, they needed to get to their own space, and we got our, you know, we're getting our routine back. So Dad got out of the hospital, and I've been to some appointments with him, and helped him with some paperwork and made sure that he's gotten what he needs as far as services, and really he's doing most of the work. I am just helping him, reminding him, hey, you need to do this, don't forget about this, make an appointment for this, and he's pretty good with it, but he does need some help at times. And let's see here, so with that, and I work full-time still, so there's that. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on. Let's see, I have been in good health. Work has been really, really busy. Everything had calmed down some here at home. At work, it's always chaotic. It's always chaos. And I was asked to train for team lead relief, so I've been doing that, and that's been an extra stressor at work. Oops, look at that, my tip came out because it's so sticky, the alien putty. I need to use it a little bit more and make it not so sticky. Ooh. Tip just fell on the floor, did it? No, it did not. Alright, I'm trying to put it back in here. It's got the washer on it, but it's still, because the alien putty is it's new and it's so sticky. I keep putting it on my shorts and my shirt to try to take some sticky out. Okay, so anyhow, that's all been going on at work. And, here I am thinking everything's slowed down. Things are going great. No more surprises. And what do you think happens? My daughter called me on today's Sunday. Today is Sunday, August the 10th, okay? August the 10th. Tomorrow's my mother-in-law's birthday. We've got to call her. Anyway, it's August the 10th, 2025, Sunday. Well, my daughter calls me Tuesday, this past Tuesday, on August, what was that? So, August the 4th-ish? I don't have a calendar around here, so let's see. Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday. So that would be August the 5th. Yes, Tuesday, August the 5th. She calls and she's like, hey, what you doing? Nothing. I just, I've been off work a couple hours. I'm sitting here trying to do some diamond painting. And she says, okay, well, can you go get Paul, my husband, Paul? So I'm like, okay, let me get him. He gets on the phone and she's like, I just wanted to call and let you know that today John called Paul, my husband, and Dad, her dad, and my ex-husband, and asked if he could ask for my hand in marriage. And I'm like, oh, yay, you're engaged, because, they've been together for 2 years, and they are made for each other, literally, and he's made for our family. It's just the best. I love it. But anyhow, she's like, yes, and that's not all. And I'm like, okay. Now, I know she's not going to tell me she's pregnant, because she's not having any children. She doesn't want to have children, and that's her choice. I respect it. I've resigned myself to the fact that she's never going to give me a grandchild, that I have the 2 that I have with my son and his wife, and there you go. That's all I'm going to have. So they get extra spoilings. But anyhow, she says, well, we found a house that we liked. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And she says, we put in an offer. And she says, and we're getting married on Friday. And I was like, you're what? What? We're getting married on Friday. I'm like, okay, I need a minute to process this, In my head, I'm like, oh, man, I'm really, I'm so disappointed, I wanted to plan this big wedding and blah, blah, blah. And she goes, she said, in order for John Caitlin said, in order for John to be able to maximize the VA benefit that is available to him as a home buyer, he has to be married. And so, that's why we're going to go ahead and get married now. And not, have the big grandiose wedding that, I had always thought that I would be able to give her, and that, she had dreamed of as a child. Well, so, I quickly, I was just like quickly, hey, that's great. I'm happy for you. What do we need to do? Do you have any plans? And no, of course, they're calling Mom because, Mom is a planner. Mom can get stuff going. So we made some plans. I'm like, when are you getting married? They said Friday, 3:30 at the courthouse. You don't make an appointment. You just show up and, you take a number and they do what they do when they do it. And I'm like, okay, that's great. Friday. All right. I said, so we got to get some flowers. What are you going to wear? We need to go to dinner afterwards. All of this stuff starts running through my head, And so by the time we got off the phone that evening, she had to call her. She still had to call John's family. They still had to call them because they hadn't let them know yet. So I still had to call them. And so while they were doing that, I start brainstorming, what can I do? I contact my friend, who is we have a friend. She's more her friend than mine, but we are acquaintances, I guess I should say. Anyway, she owns a florist shop. She's a florist. And I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. I need some flowers for Friday. I need a small bouquet and a boutonniere, That's all. Nothing real fancy. I sent her a couple of pictures she got with the florist, and they made beautiful bouquet and boutonniere for my daughter and her now husband, my son-in-law, John. And so when Caitlin called me back after she had spoken to, John's side of the family, they're like, okay, we need a place to go eat afterwards so that, you guys can all socialize, get to know each other, because we had never met John's family. And I said, well, think of some places you like to go eat. And she thought of one, and she called, and they're like, well, we can do this. We can put you at a table all together out in the main area, and you pay $10 a person to reserve that, and then we can put that against your check when you get here. Or we do have a private room that's available. Now, you would have to pay $10 a head to reserve the room, and that's non-refundable. And I'm like, do it. I'm like, just put it on our joint credit card, because we have a credit card together. She and I do. And, I'll take care of the bill. And so we booked that room because we were expecting a couple of dozen people to come to the wedding and the dinner. All right. So she got that secured. And then we talked some more. She found a dress in her closet. John found something to wear in his closet. And Caitlin's like, Mom, I want to get my nails done. I said, okay, we can go tomorrow. I'll call in the morning, and we will, make an appointment for tomorrow evening. And she said, good, because she's a teacher. She said, I have orientation Thursday night, and, Wednesday night's the only night I have. I'm like, okay, well, that's when we're doing it. So Wednesday morning, I called the nail salon as soon as they opened up at 9:30 and got that appointment secured. I had already called Publix. Well, actually, I went to Publix, our local grocery store, to order the cake Tuesday night. And they said you have to talk to, for something like that, the decorator, you have to actually talk to them when they're here. You have to do it in person. I'm like, okay, fine. So I went back the next day. I called Wednesday morning, and I'm like, listen, this is what I need. I talked to the decorator, and they're like, okay, you just have to come pay for it. So I'm like, okay, I'll come pay for it when I get off work. And so basically before noon, before 10 o'clock on Wednesday, which was way less than 24 hours after my daughter told me she was getting married, I had secured a place to have dinner after the ceremony. I had helped them figure out what they were going to wear. I had gotten us a nail appointment, gotten flowers, and also secured a cake. So I was like, yes, yay. So all of that got done. And it wasn't that big of a deal. It's just stressful, trying to make sure that everything goes off, once you've got it planned. I went up there Wednesday after I got to work. I went to Publix on my way to my nail appointment to meet Caitlin, and I paid for the cake, so that was done. And we went and got our nails done. We had time to talk and just, catch up, and we hadn't seen each other all summer, which is a crying shame because we live like 40 minutes apart, just the next city over from each other, and it's really not that far, but it's the traffic that, makes it seem like it takes forever. So we caught up, and oh boy, she told me she wasn't going to change her last name, and that kind of deflated me a little bit because, number one, I want her to change her last name because I want her to change her last name. I think that's what you do when you get married and you make a commitment to someone and you get into covenant and an exclusive marriage relationship with someone. She doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to hyphenate, nothing. She's going to just keep her last name. I'm like, fine. What am I going to do? I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't understand it. I didn't say I understood it. I'm just like, okay. She's like, absolutely no hyphenated names. The teachers hate those. She even mentioned that, and her teacher colleagues are all like, no, because they all hate hyphenated names. It's different times that we live in. She's like, Mom, just face it. All of us 90s, all those kids, these 90s babies, all of us that grew up in the 90s, we're all screwed up. And I laughed, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to blame it on that. And they're not screwed up. They just have different beliefs and different ways of doing things. And, it's her life. And thankfully, I did my job as a parent to raise her as a good woman, a good person with her own thoughts, ideas, ideals, and beliefs. And I know my daughter doesn't make decisions lightly. She is very much of a analytical person, a researcher, and I guess analytical is not the word, but she does, and not really even a planner. She does research things out. She reasons things out, makes it where, where it makes sense to her. And if she can make it make sense to her, then, she either goes for it or she doesn't. But anyhow, so that's her choice, whatever. That's her. I don't like it. It bothers me immensely, but it's not my life. And so I respect her decision. And you know what? It's not about me. None of this was about me. None of this is about me. This is her. It's her marriage, her life. And I have to always keep that in mind. Have I been upset? A little bit emotional. Feel like I got cheated and robbed out of, my dream of providing my daughter with what I thought would be, what I always knew that her wedding dream was. And somewhere along the way, she did not communicate to me that it changed. Have I felt very emotional about that? Yes, I have. And I have to just, keep reminding myself, it's not about me, it's not about me, it's not about me. Yeah, so there's that. Anyway, we get along. On Thursday, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need something to wear. I don't know what to wear. Do I need to go get my hair cut? I haven't had it cut in over a year. Although my hair is very healthy and everything is just long, do I cut it? And Caitlin, I talked about it with Caitlin on Wednesday when we got our nails done. She goes, oh, don't cut your hair, Mom. She's like, John always tells me, he likes long hair. And I'm like, yeah, Paul says that too, but he also tells me it's your hair, do what you want. And she goes, oh yeah, John says that too. And I'm like, yeah, she said, they just don't understand, how hot it is. I'm like, yeah, it's like a carpet. Our hair is very thick and full. Like, we'll never go bald. But anyhow, I didn't wind up getting my hair cut. I found something in my own closet to wear. And so I was all set. And it all worked out perfectly. I'll put some pictures in here at the end of the wedding so you can see. A little taste of what we did. But it turned out very, very nice. We get to the courthouse. The kids had not seen the area, where they married people. I had no idea what it looked like. And honestly, it was really nice. We walked into this room and they had like a drape on the back wall, and they had 2 stands with flowers. And then they had a couple of places with chairs, one side for the groom, one side for the bride, however you wanted to do it. There was 2 sides of chairs. There was like a dozen chairs there maybe. So we all fit in there perfectly. It was all of the parents, and when I say all of the parents, I mean, so it was the bride and the groom, and then it was me and bonus dad, my husband, and then my ex-husband and his wife. And then it was John's family was John's dad and his wife, John's mom and her husband, and then there was one other person, and that was Caitlin's best friend, that they've been best friends since 9th grade. One of her best friends was able to make it, the other one was not, short notice, but her best friend. And it was perfect. It was so nice. They let us stay afterwards. We could walk around and take pictures during the whole thing. They let us stay afterwards and take pictures. The person that was the officiant, she took a picture, a couple of group pictures of all of us on, 2 or 3 different phones, and we've all shared our photos and whatnot on a Google Drop thing. But it was very nice, and in the end, it was very Caitlin and John, laid back. They're real laid back, easygoing, and the least stress that you can imagine. They didn't have time to get real rings, to get their rings, so they bought rings on Amazon that kind of mimic the rings that they want. So it was just a great experience. It was fun. It was, we had a good time. The wedding was beautiful, and my daughter's now a married woman, and I have a new son, and we got along so well with John's family, and they get along with each other within his family like we get along with each other within our family. And it was just a really nice experience. We went to dinner. My son and his wife and the grandchildren were able to join us for dinner. They couldn't make it to the wedding because he had to work, and they both had to work. And my granddaughter had school. My grandson doesn't start till Monday. But anyhow, at dinner also John's uncles joined us, and so they were there, and we just had a really nice time visiting, talking, eating. It was a good dinner. We all felt comfortable and relaxed. We were all very happy for our children. The parents are happy for the children. And, you know, everything just worked out perfectly, just like it was supposed to. And I just keep telling myself that so I don't get, you know, a little bit down in the dumps that I didn't get to have this big to-do that I wanted to do to honor, you know, her at a wedding. But that's okay. She had the one, you know, she did it the way she wanted to, and Caitlin's pretty much always done things the way that she wants to do it. So there's that. And let's see. So we are talking about for a honeymoon. They're buying a house, so of course they're spending lots of money on that, and they need to furnish it and whatnot. So they're not going on a honeymoon right away, but we're talking about doing like a cruise next summer, and all of us going and celebrating their wedding. And it's also my son's 40th birthday next year, so it could be like a combination of all of that. And excuse me, and that would be fantastic. Happy occasions, and a fun way to celebrate, you know, a new family member and my son making it to 40. Oh my gosh, I'm getting old. Oh. All right. Let's see. So pretty much that's it for personal stuff. Let me take a drink 1 second. I have my beautiful Diamonds and Dragonflies tumbler. My battery's about to go dead, it says. I don't know why, because this is plugged in. But so I think I am gonna just go ahead and say goodbye. I can catch you up on some other things later. I'll do another whip and chat or a planning video with you later this week. So I'm gonna leave you with what I always say. It doesn't cost you anything to be nice. You don't ever know what another person's going through. So just be a nice person. Don't be a dumb bunny. Just be nice. Thanks for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and sparkle on.